What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Powered by Primus, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about characters that I'm really excited about coming into Wave 4. Now, a lot of people have been asking me and a lot of the team here is about what are we so excited about with Wave 4, so today I'm going to be giving you guys a little insight into some of that. Now, I will say that with this list, it is not all about competitive stuff. We are also looking at some things that I'm really excited about just to even play on a more fun, casual level. You guys know that I kind of cover both, as far as from top level decks to also the really fun stuff that's just really kind of awesome and some jank just to throw it on every once in a while. So I'm going to be showing off a bunch of stuff. Now, this is going to be part one of a part two series. In this one, I'm going to be talking about character cards that I really like coming into Wave 4. And then my next part will be talking about battle cards that I'm really excited for coming into Wave 4. Now, this list is also supposed to be 5, but honestly, it's probably going to be a lot more than 5 by the time we're done talking about it. So I'm just really excited to get into this list. So let's just start talking about characters. And the first one that I'm really excited to talk about is going to be Trypticon. Now, I guess one more thing I should have said is that these aren't going to be in any specific order. I'm just going to be spouting off character cards that I really like. Now, Trypticon is going to be the first one coming in here. Now, this also is because it is a Titan. It's one of my favorite characters. It does have the Titan ability, the Titan tag, which is going to be relevant in a deck that I do build with him just because of height advantage. I think it's just such a fun card to be able to put with him. He is ranged, which may not matter by the time that I actually start getting to building stuff, but just on the surface, it does have access to that range package if you are looking to go into that. And then talking about his stats, he has 4 attack, he has 30 health, and 2 armor. Now, these stats are also pretty nice, not nearly as good as Metroplex is, seeing as how Metroplex has 35 health and has 6 attack, but that is also in the other mode, so we'll get into that here in just a second. But this character does have really good stats. It does have, I guess, the same attack as Metroplex while in this mode, but it just has some really solid stats, and then also has an additional ability on this side that Metroplex does not have, and it says each of your other characters has bold 1, which is really awesome because this deck is just going to be so much fun. I'm really excited about it, but the really cool part about it having bold 1 is because the battle card that you need to be able to deploy the little characters is a green battle icon card. Now, this is the only thing about this deck that makes me a little iffy about it, whether or not it's going to sit on the casual side of things or if it's going to be able to be competitive at all and to be able to even be on this maybe the same power level as Metroplex, is you do have to be able to play an action to deploy a character. Now, honestly, when we talk about it, it's not really that much different than playing a flip card to be able to flip Metroplex to deploy because you're still playing an action to be able to get into that point. However, you can naturally flip Metroplex. That's where that slight advantage does come into play. However, you getting bold 1 on all of your characters with this is actually really relevant because we're flipping more cards, hopefully getting to this green battle icon card to then be able to deploy our little characters, which is really fun stuff. Now, flipping to his other mode, he becomes a melee character. Oh, I love the fact that they do swap. Really cool stuff. He does have the 6 attack on this side and then goes down to 1 armor. And it does say when you flip to this mode, you may KO one of your other characters. Obviously going to be one of your littler characters. And it says if you do, this gets +3 attack until end of turn, or you can repair 3 damage from it. Now, this is where it starts to become really fun because repairing is actually far more of a beneficial thing with this wave. It is something that we did see a lot more healing cards or repairing cards coming in with this wave that are actually relevant. No offense to Medic, but it being a blank pip to only heal 2 just wasn't really enough to get it done. We do have a couple of really nice green pip cards that are going to be able to get us some really nice repair with this wave, so it might make killing Trypticon or KOing him a lot harder to do because we might be able to be getting some of these green cards with that bowl that we have to maybe really keep healing Trypticon, which is really fun. Now, the whole thing behind it is obviously going to be our little characters and this new revenge mechanic that we have, which is something really exciting coming in with Trypticon, is that his characters have this built-in revenge, and both sides of each of the characters are going to have this revenge, except for Brunt. Brunt only has 1 mode, just like Slammer. However, all of these characters have this revenge ability, so even if your opponent KOs them, you're going to be getting a benefit from it, and then if you choose to KO it with your Trypticon, you're still going to be getting the benefit of it, whether it's repair 3 or that extra 3 damage, which is really nice because that guy's swinging for 6 base, so now you're getting in for 9 base. Oh, pretty crazy stuff. But we're going to be talking about Wipeout here in his alt mode. He's going to have range, which is nice. He has this revenge mechanic that does say we have to draw 2 cards if we have Trypticon on the battlefield. Even if we go over to the other side, then we're going to be drawing a card if we have Trypticon on the battlefield. Again, really nice. It just gets to really kind of cycle out the character for another one of the characters himself. And then talking about full tilt, he gets to deal 2 damage to an enemy if you do have him on the battlefield, or Trypticon on the battlefield, which is really nice because then it becomes just a built-in plasma burst. So just imagine KOing your full tilt, dealing 2 damage to your enemy, and then healing 3. Oh, so nice. Even if you flip over to his other side and you get that KO effect, then you get to do 1 damage, so it turns into a zap or an unhindered tactics. Either way, even getting 1 damage in is going to be pretty nice. And then finally talking about Brunt, who's also going to be in on this range, is also going to have the revenge ability to scrap an enemy weapon or armor, which is really nice stuff because you can sacrifice him at the point in which you really need to, and then if your opponent goes into him with a weapon or an armor or something of relevance, well then you just get to scrap it after your character gets KO'd. And because he does only have 3 health, it's going to be actually really easy to take him down, even being in here with 3 armor. If you've ever played against Metroplex and someone running Slammer, he has the exact same stats, same star cost, everything as Slammer, so you kind of know how this is all going to play out. Now again, Trypticon is just a character I'm really excited for. It's because of his mechanic and because he is a Titan. Believe me, you guys are definitely going to be seeing a video of Trypticon and Metroplex going at it. Now coming into our next slot, we're going to be talking about Sgt Springer. Now I originally had Astro Train in this slot, however Astro Train suffers from the King Starscream syndrome, is what I like to call, is that it just takes a little bit too much to set up, and if your opponent happens to respond to it or have an answer to it before you get Astro Train online, then he just becomes a significantly worse character. However, if you get him online, then he becomes really great. But like I said, it was just that little bit of iffiness that I wasn't a huge fan of, where however Springer is actually a really solid character just all the way around. Now talking about his first alt mode, or alt mode 1, however you want to look at it, is that it does say that when you flip to this mode, you may scrap an action from your hand. If you do, you get to draw 2 cards. So it's a really nice way of just getting to cycle out a card that you don't really need right now, or even just a card that doesn't do as much as 2 cards would do, because you do get to draw 2. Now essentially we'll just be drawing 1 because you're losing an action and then gain an action to replace that action, and then getting 1 on top of that. But it's a really nice little thing to be able to do. And then when you flip to his other mode, which is the helicopter mode, it says you may scrap an upgrade. If you do, you get to draw 2. Now, if these abilities do look familiar to you, then they will be coming back from, we have our original Bumblebee, the Trusty Lieutenant, which did allow us to be able to scrap an action, draw 2, and then our other Megatron, which had the ability to scrap an upgrade, draw 2. So you have both of those abilities wrapped into this one card, which is really nice. Now, even coming in at 12 stars, which I originally thought was just a little bit high, you get to look at his stats, and they're actually really nice. We have 6 attack, 16 health, and then we have 2 armor, which is really nice because, like I said, that extra health is actually really relevant. And there really wouldn't be a whole lot of sense if we were just drawing these extra cards if we can get to do something with them. So we finally flip to his last mode, which is just going to be that bot mode, and he does get to keep the 6 attack and keep the 2 armor. Now this is actually really relevant because most of the time when you have a character that you know designed, you want to be attacking in bot mode, and we usually have more attack and less armor, and then when you're in your other modes they'll have more armor and less attack. However, this character carries the same stats all across the board, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about losing power here or losing armor here. You just get to keep the same stats. And it does say that when you have 7 or more cards in your hand and you flip to this mode, you may play an action, then you may play an upgrade. Now this does not count as your action and or upgrade for the turn, meaning that you get to play 2 actions and 2 upgrades in the same turn, which is pretty nuts. Now we're going to be pushing this mechanic even further with another card coming in with Wave 4. Honestly, feels like specifically just for him, and that is going to be Conversion Engine. Now this is a utility card, which is really nice to be able to put on him. It is a Y battle icon. Again, love it. Gives us +1 attack, and it says put on only a character that has more than 1 alt mode. Perfect for triple changers. It also says at the end of your turn, you get to flip the upgraded character to another mode, meaning that you can choose to flip to one mode, scrap an upgrade, draw 2, end of turn, flip to the other mode, scrap an action, draw 2, or you can even flip to Springer because it does count as another mode, and then you can play an action and an upgrade on your opponent's turn, which is really nice. Now technically it's still at the end of your turn, so it's not on your opponent's turn, but again, it doesn't take away from the action and the upgrade, and maybe you want to be able to play a weapon and then be able to like play an armor on defense, but it's really hard because you can't play both. Well, you can now play a weapon, you can attack, and then end of turn flip to bot mode and then play the armor. So now you're perfectly ready for a defense on top of getting in that extra on offense. Or even again, let's say you're in the one mode, you get to flip to the one side, you get to get rid of that upgrade, draw two, end of turn, boom, you get to go to the other side, scrap an action, draw two, start your turn, flip Springer, you have more than 7 cards in hand, you're ready to play 2 things, play 2 more things, and then at end of turn, you get to swap back to another mode, and then get to scrap another card and draw 2 more. Like, it's absolutely crazy, the amount of cards that are going to be coming in and out of your hand with Springer, and again, attached to a pretty nice body as far as health and damage goes, and being at 12 stars means that we have quite a lot of space to be able to build a really good team to join him. Now our next character coming in here is going to be Lord Megatron. Now I did write an article that is up on our website. I will put a link in the description below that does talk about a deck that I want to build with Lord Megatron that does revolve around obviously his ability. But the one thing that I'm really excited about with Lord Megatron, and I'll give an honorable mention here to Impactor, is I think there's finally the ability to be able to do an orange tank deck. Now I really wanted to do orange tanks ever since I did see Crushing Treads, which allows you to get Pierce equal to your armor. However, there just really wasn't a whole lot there. I really couldn't get enough gas underneath it to where it just made sense. It was just better to always play like cars or play something else more aggressive. But with this set coming in, I'm really excited because I might finally be able to explore orange tanks. Now, the one thing that makes them more, I guess, acceptable coming in with this wave is just the stats on Lord Megatron here. Being able to have 6 attack is really nice, 17 health is super crazy, 3 armor is great, and then he's only 12 stars, which actually makes a difference. Had he been 13, a deck that I'm working on would have been a little more awkward, but being at 12 stars is actually really good. Now, he does support you being able to go in either a blue list, an orange list, whatever. He has the ability in the stats to do so. However, I talked about it in the article, and I'm going to go into it here, is cards like Composite Armor. Now, Composite Armor gives us +3 defense and gives us +1 attack, which is really good. Now it makes not having to go blue a lot more tempting. Even if you're trying to attack into Lord Megatron, you have a composite armor on him and you're in alt mode, you have 7 attack because of the armor, and you have 6 defense. So even if you're not flipping blue pips, your opponent goes to attack in for 8, 9, you're maybe taking 2, 3, so it doesn't really matter, and that 3 extra defense is super relevant. Now, the card does go away at end of combat, but, you know, there are many things that we can do to get that card back, so I'm not really worried too much about it. The other thing that I really want to talk about is Impactor, right? This guy is really awesome, coming in here at 7 stars, has bold, and is a leader. Meaning now, even in this orange tank deck that I wouldn't be running something like this, is I can put in those Matrix of Leadership. Really cool because he's a leader. We get that +1 online, we get that Pierce 1 online, which is definitely going to be beneficial because of the deck that I'm going to be showing you guys at some point that I've been theory crafting is going to be an orange-black tank deck. Again, don't know if it's going to be competitive, if it's going to be casual. I'm definitely going to be trying to keep you guys far more updated with stuff with Wave 4's launch. One thing that with Wave 3 that I didn't really get to do a whole lot was I got to explore some stuff, but I really spent a lot of time exploring, and I'm really going to be trying to dive into Wave 4, just cranking out decks, seeing what's good, seeing what's bad. I'm really excited for it, and I know that you guys are going to be really excited for it. But back to the point at hand, talking about orange tanks here. The next character I want to talk about, which finally I think is going to get a lot more light, is going to be Demolisher. Now, I just want to put what Demolisher does in this orange tank deck just a little bit into perspective for you guys. Now, looking at Demolisher, he's going to have the 0 attack, and then you're going to flip, which allows you to flip 2 basic cards for your attack, like normal, nothing crazy. And then you get to flip 1 additional card for his armor's total. So you have 4 armor base, which means we're now flipping 4 more additional cards. So now we're flipping 6 to start. However, with a composite armor on, now his defense goes up 3 more. So now we're flipping 9 cards base. Now we're most likely going to have whites in our deck, of course. So let's say you flip 2 more. We're going to be flipping 11 cards when it comes to attacking with Demolisher. And again, I'm pushing an orange blacklist. So now we're going to sit there and go, wow, if we're flipping 11 cards, we know 1 is a white for sure. Let's say maybe 1's a blank, I don't know. Even with that, we're going to have 9 cards that are going to be orange and black, or just going to be black pips, or maybe we're going to have double black pip, double oranges. Either way, it's going to be entirely possible to be able to hit like 9 attack, 9 pierce, and you can even do this as early as your, I guess technically second turn of the game, but your first turn. Let's say your opponent gets to go first, and then you get to flip Demolisher, play Composite Armor, and get like 9 pierce. And oh, it's going to be absolutely insane. I'm really excited to try it out. Now, the next character coming in here is going to be Captain Jetfire. Now, this guy, first off, the art is absolutely gorgeous, but his stats are so awesome. His tags are awesome. Everything about this character is just awesome. Now, first off, he's a leader. So now, again, we just talked about it. Matrix of Leadership is really nice on him, and even better so, here in just a second, we'll talk about it. He is a plane, and then he is also ranged, which, again, could make a difference with this character. Talking about his stats, in alt mode coming in with 5 attack and then 20 health and 2 armor. So the really cool part about this character, again, we talked about a little bit earlier, is about the stats versus in alt mode versus in bot mode. Going over into bot mode, he has 6 attack and 2 armor. So he actually just gains more attack going into bot mode without having to sacrifice the armor, which is really nice. Now, when you flip over to his alt mode, it says you get to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and put all upgrades among them into your hand and scrap the rest. Now, this essentially is a treasure hunt, but I call it a super treasure hunt because you get to flip 1 more additional card. Not to mention, Captain Jetfire's deck is going to be jam-packed with even more upgrades than what you would normally see in decks that are running Treasure Hunt, so you're going to have a way higher chance of being able to pick them up off of his ability. Now, flipping over into bot mode, which just has crazy abilities and really awesome stuff, it says when this battles, which means whenever you attack with him or whenever you defend with him, you get to draw a card. Then you may, now this is not a necessary thing to do, it does say may, which is important. You may reveal an upgrade from your hand and put it on top of your deck. Now, just for instance, as just a quick spitball, we did talk about Matrix of Leadership a second ago. This would be a perfect card in any situation when battling or defending, because when you do put it on top of your deck, you get to flip 1 more battle card during this battle. Now, if you've ever played with Optimus Maximus, he has the ability that says whenever you battle, plan 1. Now, this essentially is the same thing. Whenever you battle, you get to draw a card, and then you get to put 1 on top. However, the difference is, if you do put 1 on top on attack, you get bold 1. And then if you put 1 card on top on defense, then you get tough 1. So it's going to obviously be a mixed pick deck, at least what I'm going to be planning on to start, that just really gets you to be able to benefit from all those things. Now, since we're flipping into alt mode, we're getting a bunch of different cards, means that we have plenty of gas to be able to use when it comes to his bot mode side. Again, talked about it, Matrix of Leadership here, really awesome. We can either put it on him as a utility, we get those bonuses, or we get to put it on top when it comes to attacking. We're guaranteeing an orange on top, plus we get bold 1. We can even put it on top during defense, guaranteeing we have a blue, and then get tough 1. So there's just a lot of really awesome stuff with this character. The thing that makes him very interesting, and again, always going to be on that cusp, is he is 16 stars, meaning that we don't have a lot of space to be able to build a team around him. So it's like, do we go too tall and try, this character, or do we try to go 3 wide with a couple of smaller characters? So it's going to be really interesting to explore this character, but I'm very, very excited to. And then our final character coming in on the list is going to be Octone. Now, there was definitely no way that a mercenary was not going to be making it onto the list, and then I just figured it had to have been probably the best of the best when it comes to these mercenaries, because this guy is going to be a monster. Now, originally I was talking with the group and saying how much more powerful this guy was because Press the Advantage didn't get to target him. Now, that card's gone. We don't have to worry about it. We also don't want to talk about it. But this card is just going to be awesome because he is not an Autobot and not a Decepticon. Now, there are some cards that are relevant when it does come to talking about Autobot or Decepticon specific. However, he gets to dodge those cards while also being able to pick up all of the new mercenary cards that are coming in with this wave. And believe me, they have some pretty insane one. Dual Wield alone is going to be a really good card with him. Now, Octone is a triple changer, which is really nice. We already talked about Conversion Engine earlier, which is definitely going to be an auto include for me with this character because of his alt mode abilities. Now, first off, I'm going to talk about the whole stat thing that I've been talking about the whole time, is that this guy has 5 attack in both of the alt modes and then flips into 6 when it comes to bot mode. So normally I'd be like, oh, well, yeah, you're getting that one more extra, but the alt mode abilities are kind of insane. Now, talking about his truck mode first, which is also a melee mode, it does say when you flip to this mode, your opponent does 1 damage to one of their Autobots. Now, that is always kind of a slight disadvantage when your opponent does get the choice to do it. However, there are some just mixed teams out there, so maybe they'll only have 1 Autobot for you to be able to target anyway. Same thing goes for the other side, we'll talk about here in just a second. But that 1 damage is actually really nice. And then it also has the added ability that says this has +3 attack while attacking an Autobot. Now, I don't know if you can have any more of a feeling card when it comes to talking about a mercenary other than a character that just gets straight up +3 against Autobots. And then let's flip to his other side, where he becomes a plain and ranged and has the exact same ability but targeting Decepticons. It says when you flip to this mode, your opponent chooses one of their Decepticons and does 1 damage to it, and then he has +3 attack while attacking a Decepticon. So it doesn't matter if you're attacking or an Autobot or a Decepticon, you're going to be able to set this guy up to be able to do 1 damage to one of their characters, and then also be swinging in for a base of 8 damage on one of those characters. Now, those are super, super solid, awesome abilities just by itself. But then we get to put this attached to a 17 health 2 armor body, which is a lot. 17 health is quite a bit. That's one thing that we're starting to see with some of these really big characters coming in here, is that they just have stats. They are really powerful from a base standpoint. They don't have to look into a lot of these other cards to just try to get their attack up and stuff. They just have base stats, which is really nice because Battlefield Legend has always kind of been in that space, having that really massive 8 attack at 13 stars. But he was actually lower on the spectrum, only having that 14 health. Now, I say only having 14 health when that was definitely the boogeyman of the meta for a really long time. But some of these characters that are coming in 20+ health, 17 health, we're starting to see a lot more health on these bigger end characters, which is really, really nice. Now, we flip over into his alt mode where we get to see the bounty ability, which is a new mechanic coming in with these mercenary characters. Really love it. He is ranged while in this mode, and it says when this does enough attack damage to KO an enemy, you get to use his bounty ability. Now, he does go up to 6 base in this mode, and then his bounty ability says you get to do 2 damage to an enemy. Now, this is 2 damage that you do get to pick where it goes, so essentially you get to KO a character, and instead of just being like, awesome, I KO'd a character, you get to now also plasma burst another character, which is really, really strong stuff. Not to mention you're doing damage to their characters in the other modes before getting to Octone's, like his bot side, so you're going to be dealing a lot of direct damage to your opponent. And then again with things like Conversion Engine, now you're sitting at 9 attack while you're in your alt modes and 7 attack while in this mode. And let's say your opponent's running Autobots and Decepticons, well, you get to do the same thing we were doing with Springer. You get to flip Octone to, let's say, his alt mode 2. You get to do 1 damage to Decepticon. End of turn, you get to flip it back to an Autobot, get to do 1 damage until end of turn, and then on your turn, you can just flip Octone. When you're ready to KO said character, you KO that character, and they get to do 2 damage to something else, and then you get to, at end of turn, flip back to one of these other modes and deal 1 damage again. So it's absolutely crazy how much direct damage this guy's going to be throwing all over the board, not to mention being a really beefy character by being able to get in for more damage and taking more damage. So this guy is going to be really awesome, and I know I'm really going to be exploring the mercenaries just because it's a really fun thing. I love the fact that there is a new faction in the game. Really gives me hopes for a lot more things to come, and just to be able to see that they're willing to do these kinds of stuff is really awesome on a design aspect, because again, like I said, that means that they're going to be able to open the door for a lot more things, which just adds a lot more depth and a lot more design to future waves. Alrighty, so there is my list. I think it ended up coming out to be 6 characters. I don't know. I don't care. It's just characters that I'm really excited about coming into Wave 4. And to be honest with you, I am just super excited for Wave 4. I cannot wait for the launch. It's going to be really, really exciting. I have so many things planned for launch weekend. I'm going to be showing off draft, showing off sealed, and I'm also going to be getting quite a bit of cases, not to mention just so I can get all the stuff, but I'm going to be able to put all of those extras into the shop for you guys. I do not want anyone to have to miss out on any of these cards coming into Wave 4, and I'm most likely even going to be doing like some type of discount deal or something on the shop just because I'm so excited for it, and I want everyone to be able to celebrate Wave 4 and make sure everyone gets the cards that they want. So it's going to be a really, really awesome time. I think I took like the first like week after release off or week and a half off just to make sure that I'm really getting you guys a bunch of content. We're going to be playing, we're going to be doing live streaming. It's going to be so much fun. But that was my list. I'm really interested to see who your guys' list would be. Let me know down in the comment section below what character or characters that you guys are most excited for with Wave 4. Now, like I said, this is part 1. I'm going to have part 2 coming out most likely tomorrow, talking about the battle cards, which is going to be another awesome video. So make sure you guys come back in tomorrow and tune into that. Hope you guys did enjoy this, and I will catch you guys in the next one.